Hello everybody, welcome back. So we're going to have a look at two coins this morning, just to, I suppose, get as much done as in a short space of time as possible. So the market's moving, I have to say, probably with the health of Bitcoin. As long as Bitcoin's not moving down, the market's able to move up. I suppose just a brief overview is that we're still in this accumulation range, like a massive one with Bitcoin, up to about 50,000 tops. And I am expecting a bit of a pullback when we touch that, maybe even before, but I would imagine when we get it, and that will obviously a reaction from there. I think will be quite dramatic, at least bringing us down to around into the low 40s, maybe even basically 41, or could possibly even retest this golden cross. We know how that happens very frequently, and then the market should be okay from there. Basically, an opportunity to buy, basically. But for the moment, a sideways within this accumulation range, slow and sideways for Bitcoin, seems to be pretty prosperous for altcoins. So we'll just have a quick look at PundiX. So the main entry on this one was around about $1.35, roughly 40 maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I bought this one with the anticipation of it basically going and doing a full reversal. I made a video on how token swaps often react this way, coming on, dumping, being massively oversold, then picking themselves up from the ground and then going back into what would be classed as their previous behaviour from what they were like prior to the token swap, which was NPSX. I think that's what I always get confused with the ticker. So at the moment, I mean, it's been slow and steady. It's been okay. It's not doing anything massively aggressive, and that's kind of what I expected. When this one starts to ramp up, it will ramp up quite quickly. And it could happen at any point now. Being above this white line here, of roughly about $2, is the where it will change its behaviour. And doesn't mean that I'm expecting giant big moves from it right this very second, but it's a start. And if we think about this Chiku span over here, breaking above this red portion of the cloud, that's also an area where I'd expect to see another big move. But when I'm talking about big moves, at this stage, with this kind of chart looking like this, being so young, it's probably going to, if anything, spike and then, dump as well. But so far, the 10 exponential has carried it nicely, softly, almost every other day, to new highs, slowly and gently. But soon it will start to go into its own mode of bull, and I think that is probably going to happen provided we stay above this level it's between $1.85 and $2. It's difficult to say. Now, if we look at all these other bits and bobs over here, we do have pretty slow and flat MACD, not really giving away any kind of ideas that it's going to be super bullish or anything like that. But I'm mostly looking at the way that it's constructive, in the way that it's being supported pretty much at every opportunity on that 10 exponential. And then finally, when we did close a candle body above this white line here, this white line of resistance, we did have one nice, probably the biggest candle we've had, sold off pretty much instantly, but it's also the 200 exponential moving average here on the 12 hourly. Don't normally look at 12 hourlies, but because this chart's not very old, it's the only chance we've got to see a 200 exponential, so I'll use it, and I'll use it for PundiX. Either way, this one's going to be a slow burn until it picks up pace, and then I imagine it to work out in a similar kind of fashion to the way that the eGold chart looked. So for those who didn't know, just go and have a look at eGold. When it came onto the market, it looked like this. Basically, it looked like this, then reversed and went on to make some decent highs. I'm not saying it's going to perform to the exact same standards of eGold, but I expect the chart to mimic eGold to a large extent. And let's just have a recap of VRA. VRA now at resistance. That's just above 2 cents, basically. Breaking above here and remaining above here should start to see a more aggressive and probably volatile uptrend. We can see that this is where the big breakout really took place. We can also see that the resistance breakout, resistance here. So we are at resistance right now. But again, this is another coin that's looking really, really good. Slow and steady wins the race, says the MACD there, basically accumulating the entire time. Not particularly overbought on the RSI or the money flow index, so that's all looking pretty sweet. And if we look here at the weekly, this is where it's really going to start to pick up the pace. We can see that the MACD is turning up. The money flow is also turning up now to suggest that I think that breaking above this 20 weekly, which is also where this resistance is, should lend itself to a larger move. That large move would probably bring us to between 2.7 cents to possibly as much as 2.8 cents. I know it doesn't sound much, but it really is quite a big deal. Depending on obviously where you bought this, that's 35%. I mean, I can't remember my exact entry point, but it was below a cent, so we'll just call it 1 cent. Excuse me. So that at that stage is going to be roughly about 150, 160% move. And again, this is something I'm looking to hold for a little bit longer. This is one of those altcoins that I was watching on the way down, waiting for a confirmed reversal before jumping back in. I don't know if you watched this channel, but there was a handful of these that we were looking at doing that with. 2 have already started to move, and 1 is not yet moving actually, so there's still opportunity out there to pick these up at their lows or relatively low. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to buy and when to buy. This is my interpretation of the market. This is my strategy, my plan. I'm not a financial advisor, just documenting my own trades, and so far they're working out quite well. But it doesn't mean that it'll continue this way. Remember, if we get rejected over here at between $48,000 and $50,000 for Bitcoin, I do expect to see quite a nasty pullback to the tune of potentially 16-17%. And you can only imagine what that'll do for altcoins. And then we'd have to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart to see the reaction that it's had on there, to see if that's going to go into an actual uptrend or if it's going to continue to trickle down slowly. So we don't know exactly how this will play out in the long term, or should I say the medium term, as I am expecting a pullback in the market. Will that pullback give people the opportunity to buy into Bitcoin and Bitcoin then takes the lead? Or will it continue with the way that the market's going right now, whereas basically money is flowing into every asset almost equally and pushing alts up massively compared to what's going on with Bitcoin? Because obviously the larger the market cap, the slower the move with the same amount of capital. So I'll leave it with you there anyway. It's a very early start for me, and this is my only chance to make a video, I suppose. But otherwise, join me on the Telegram. It's free. Links in the description below. And like and subscribe to the channel. And join the Patreon if you want to do the live streams twice a week. Anyway, have a nice day. Take it easy.